I'm Julie and I've put together this video to show you what cameras, lenses and film I'm using, because I've had a lot of people asking lately and it's nice to have these conversations about how you make your pictures, because I think it's interesting to see what kind of methods people use, what equipment they're using, what film they're using, and it means that it shows other people that you can get into photography for quite cheaply as well. You don't need to be having the top spec gear, or you don't need to be buying everything brand new, as you'll see with a lot of the equipment that I've got. So my main camera is my Canon 80D, which is what I'm filming this video with, so you're not going to get to see it, but it just looks like a Canon DSLR. It's the same as every other one. This is my Agfa 535 viewfinder camera. It's from the 1970s, it's got really nice design, it looks like a little Braun product, which is something that I love. I bought this in 2016 in Dundee in a shop called Tayside Reusers, and they were really good. I miss going there actually because they had about 5 to 10 compact cameras of all different ages for sale, and this one was only £3, so you can get an idea of just how cheap it was there. First it was a wee bit hit and miss, but I think that was because I didn't know how to use it. Only things when you're taking a picture that you can set actually is the focal distance and the ISO of what film you're shooting at. The rest the camera does itself, so it selects the aperture and the shutter speed based on how much light is being fed into this light meter at the front. The viewfinder on this camera is one of the best things about it. It's so big, it's got nice little frame lines to help you compose your image, and it comes up with a little green light if it's going to be fine. If it's too dark, it shows you a red light because you can end up with a shaky image or nothing at all, which is what I discovered so many times when I first got this camera. Focusing takes a wee bit of guesswork. You can set it to portrait, two-person portrait or mountains, and it's got the readings in metres and feet on the bottom, but it's a bit oddly designed that it's on the bottom, but it's fine. It's nice and fun to use, you kind of never know what you're going to get out of it, and it's a great size just for if you're in the towns and you're just shooting like that. It's really good rather than having a big SLR around your neck. The only thing is that the batteries get changed in the back, so if you're shooting and you run out of battery you need to open the back and you're going to lose a couple of shots of film. Interesting thing about this camera is that it uses a twin blade leaf shutter. It's basically, there's blades and they open and close from the centre outwards, a wee bit like an aperture ring, but that's what your shutter is rather than a traditional shutter. My other Canon camera I've got is my Canon 500M. This is a film camera from 1996. I bought this from a student when I was at uni in Dundee. I saw it on a Facebook page and I sent the guy a message, and I bought this and a couple of lenses for £25. This camera is still quite cheap to get though, and I think it's a great camera for anybody that's wanting to get into film photography because it has loads of automatic features, but you can switch it to manual if it's something that you'd rather do. My favourite bit about it is that it winds the film on and rewinds it itself, so you're never going to have any issues with ripping the film or not winding it enough and opening the back and exposing things. You just make sure that your film's really safe and that's quite important. When I got this camera it was quite bashed up because I don't know what had happened to it, but apart from that it's great condition, so I just covered it with some tweed to make it a wee bit softer. At the moment I've got my Canon 35 to 80mm lens on it, which I only got the other day actually. It was second hand and so far it's great. This is a Pentacon 50mm. It's a lens that came on my grandma's Practica SLR camera when I found it in her camera bag in the cupboard. Really what got me into film photography. Although I never met my grandma, I've now got all her cameras and stuff in, so I've got a lot to thank her for really. It's just perfect for portraits and things. I've never seen such a good bokeh on a lens, it's so nice. To use my M42 lenses with my Canon camera, I've got a little screw mount which I got a couple of years ago. So just so nicely designed, these old lenses. It's got great little metal grips on it for when you're using it. There's just something about these old lenses, they're quite collectible, which is dangerous, but they're just much more tactile to use and everything's fully manual, and it just forces you to kind of slow down a wee bit more, pay attention to every single tiny little move of the lens and just get to know them really well. This is such a nice lens. This is one of the nicest old lenses that I've got. It was the second lens that was in my grandma's camera bag. It's a Carl Zeiss Jenna DDR lens with 135mm focal length, so it's quite zoomed in and it's not one that I use a lot, but it's a lens that I always try and use as much as I can because it's just the smoothest focusing that I've used, the smoothest aperture ring, the aperture blades are so clean. The pictures come out really well. It's got a nice little lens hood built into it, which is great for when you've got a wee bit of sun flare. It's just perfect really. I couldn't really ask for a better lens. The longest focal length film lens that I have is my Hahnemex 200mm. It came with my Canon 500N. It's great for using with my digital camera as well actually. I use it quite a lot with that. And again, it's got that nice bokeh of the M42 lens. It's not super sharp and the colours are kind of saturated a wee bit, but I think that's nice for a certain kind of photography. I'll stop babbling now. I hope you've all enjoyed this video and learning about my equipment and kind of my reasons for having my equipment. If there's anything else you'd like to know, let me know, and if you enjoyed it, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching and take care and keep safe.